They were iconic brands that had come to define entire generations, but with a few fateful decisions, they went from household names to household embarrassments. Welcome to the story of rebrands that bankrupted entire companies. We've all seen it happen, that moment of panic when a struggling company decides a flashy new logo is the magic bullet they need. But as you're about to see, good intentions don't always prevent great mistakes. Strap in because today we're exploring some of the most jaw-dropping identity overhauls that backfired spectacularly. And what better way to start than by talking about our favorite childhood pastries? Hostess Twinkies and Ding Dongs had long been staples in American pantries, but by the 2000s the company was starting to feel a bit outdated. Sales were slumping as younger customers sought healthier options. So in 2004, Hostess was acquired by private equity firms hoping to modernize its image. They launched the Twinkie Makeover in 2011, a radical rebrand meant to bring these nostalgic snacks into a more health-conscious era.
Well, let's say this Twinkie represents the normal amount of psychokinetic energy in the New York area. 35 feet long, weighing approximately 600 pounds.
That's a big Twinkie.
We could be on the verge of a fourfold cross rip, a PKE surge of incredible, even dangerous proportions.
Tell them about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
Twinkies ditched their creamy centers for fruit-flavored fillings, in addition to revamping Ding Dongs and Ho-Hos with whole-grain pastries and healthier profiles, using ingredients like whole-grain flour. But fans weren't ready to say goodbye to the classics they knew and loved. When longtime customers bit into the new recipes, they tasted only disappointment. Where were the comforting flavors of childhood? How could so many memories be appended with one small change to the recipes?
Hey! Where's the cream filling?
Instead of catering to their core customer base, Hostess went in the completely opposite direction, misunderstanding the reason people buy their products in the first place. Within 2 short years, sales had plunged a staggering 33%. As revenues sank, so did Hostess's already shaky finances following its leveraged buyout. Against this backdrop of growing debt and distrust, a labor dispute in 2012 became the final nail in the coffin. After 86 years in business, Hostess was forced to file for bankruptcy. While many factors contributed, it's clear the Twinkie Makeover failed to honor what attracted customers for generations: nostalgia and familiarity. By tampering with sacred recipes, Hostess unwittingly dug its own grave. It was a cautionary tale in fixing what wasn't broken. But the iconic Hostess brands aren't the only 100-plus-year-old brand to go into bankruptcy due to rebranding in recent years. Debenhams had stood proudly on British high streets for centuries, a grand dame of the retail world. But storm clouds were gathering in the late 2000s. The rise of online shopping and recession hit sales hard, just as private equity deals loaded the store with debt. Something had to be done, and fast. In 2007, Debenhams launched Declared, a £600 million rebranding spectacle meant to update stores and appeal to younger customers. But try as it might with flashy new signs and displays, the store still felt stuffy compared to trendy rivals. Another rebrand arrived in 2013 with the Brightmoor Street identity, shuffling the logo and aesthetics once more. Alas, neither changes could mask the fact that Debenhams failed to energize the brand or attract new customers. As the inconsistencies mounted, even loyal staff and suppliers grew unsure of the brand's uncertain fate. By 2019, the cracks could no longer be papered over. Sales were in free fall. Repeated rebrands had only spread confusion as key issues went unaddressed. So when COVID struck, it delivered the final blow to the beloved 242-year-old institution. Once Britain's stately retail stalwart, it is now struggling to hang on. After liquidating treasured stores and laying off thousands, Debenhams stores closed for the final time in 2021. And now, all that remains are the fading your Debenhams slogans, yet another testimony to the damage ill-conceived rebrands can do. 2 iconic brands reduced to atoms. But rebranding's path of destruction isn't over yet, as it decided to claim yet another multi-million institution. IndyMac Bank was riding high in the 2000s housing boom. As one of the largest mortgage lenders in California, it was originating loans left and right and bundling them as securities to sell on Wall Street. But underneath the surface, IndyMac was writing many risky, low-documentation loans to dubious borrowers. Meanwhile, it piled into mortgage-backed securities, leaving it overly exposed when the market turned. In early 2008, with storm clouds looming, IndyMac launched a massive rebrand. It changed its name and logo, redoing all marketing materials as One West Bank in a flashy PR campaign. The timing could not have been worse. Barely months later, borrowers started defaulting en masse as the financial crisis hit. One West's risky bets imploded, and depositors soon panicked. Within weeks in mid-2008, customers fled, withdrawing $1.3 billion in a single week. The costly rebrand did nothing to inspire confidence in IndyMac's true weaknesses. Loan losses spiraled out of control. Regulators seized the troubled lender, and One West Bank was now a zombie bank nationalized by the FDIC. The poorly timed rebrand was a superficial fix that failed to address deep problems and hastened IndyMac's demise. Now, after 3 rebranding failures that caused bankruptcy, companies will now be more careful when making such a decision. However, this manufacturing company didn't have this luxury. Philadelphia Gear was a long-standing maker of power transmission parts like gears, chains, and sprockets. It had been in business since the late 19th century. In the 1970s, it underwent an aggressive rebranding effort led by its new president, Robert Knuckle, who wanted to modernize the stodgy image. The revamp included a complete overhaul of the company's logo, colors, marketing materials, uniforms, trucks, basically every aspect of its branding. Knuckle believed this facelift was necessary to attract younger customers, and signal Philadelphia Gear was innovative and cutting edge. However, the rebranding went too far in changing the very essence of the company. Employees hated the new logo and style. Additionally, longtime customers who knew Philadelphia Gear as reliable and traditional were confused and alienated by the overhaul. Sales plummeted. Within a year, the company was losing money rapidly. Knuckle refused to acknowledge the failure of his rebranding strategy. By 1975, Philadelphia Gear declared bankruptcy as it faced a mass exodus of customers, low employee morale, and piles of debt from the ill-fated rebranding costs. It should have served as a cautionary tale of how a rebranding can go wrong. Alas, it did not. As we've seen, rebrands have the power to send companies spiraling downward if mishandled. While change is inevitable, a successful rebrand requires careful planning and research. So what are the lessons companies can learn from today's video? For any brand undergoing reinvention, the lessons are clear. Rebrands demand clarity of vision, respect for consumer perspectives, and justification beyond superficial fixes. Taking the time to cultivate acceptance is key to ensuring a natural evolution, not consumer revolt. When executed insightfully with customers as partners, rebrands can breathe new life into what came before. But hastily removing recognition invites the kinds of failures we've seen in today's video that can threaten a company's foundations. For brands hoping to thrive in the years ahead, honoring their past may be the surest path forward. Well, that's all for today. From Hostess changing recipes without consent to Debenhams confusing rebrands, you just never know when a makeover will backfire. Don't forget to like this video if you found these case studies as jaw-dropping as I did, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for more marketing videos.